So for my second YouTube video, I finished filming it and I realized I haven't done a proper intro yet, so here it is. Hi, I'm Irissu. This channel is mostly going to be about everything BL. If you enjoy talking about anything BL, you can like and subscribe. Today's video, I'm going to read Thousand Autumns. But yeah, it's a reading vlog, my first reading vlog, so please bear with me. And I already finished it. And you will see how I felt about it. I did updates every 25%, so yeah. Let's go see Iris from the past now. I just started reading Thousand Autumns. It's a danmei by Meng Zishi, and it's an author I have never tried before. And this one edition is in French actually, published by Komogi. It's also the first danmei I'm reading in French for the first read, or at all actually. I'm pretty sure I haven't read any danmei in French yet. Yeah. But it's like a gorgeous, gorgeous edition. Yeah. So cute. I actually already started it a little bit. I read like 68 pages. And my first thoughts about it is that I'm a bit surprised by who the narration is focusing on. Because this novel is about Yan Wuxi, this one with the white hair, and also Qian Qiao, which I suppose is this one. However, in the book, we don't really get their own perspective. We actually get more, the narration follows a bit more one of Yan Wuxi's students called Yu Chengyan. Yes. So it's a bit surprising. For now, we don't really know the characters that well. Yan Wuxi is described as being kind of egoistical, think about himself, kind of cruel. And we have seen that Qian Qiao is just very pure. He wants to protect people, even when he has actually no memory of himself. Yeah, that's the very start of the book. They find Yan Wuxi and Yu Chengyan find Qian Qiao hurt, like dying hurt. They pick him up to heal him, but Yan Wuxi doesn't do that because he's not being nice, but actually because he's heard of Qian Qiao's reputation and he's like, I'm going to show him life sucks, people sucks. And when Qian Qiao wakes up and they realize he doesn't have his memories, they lie to him. And they're like, yeah, you're in our sect. Don't worry. We love you. No, they don't say that, but yeah, they lie to him. Pretend. And they try to make him do bad stuff. And he's like, no, I'm not hurting innocent people. And that's basically where I'm at. He just actually was supposedly kind of thrown out because he didn't do well on the mission. And like, it's not exactly like Yan Wuxi pushes him out, because he's not there. He's just like, he just gave an order that if Qian doesn't do well, he can go eat shit, basically. And Yu Cheng'an is like, okay, I don't actually I don't really give a shit about him anyway, so yeah, he can go eat shit. Very nice. See, the romance is already blooming. But yeah, it's kind of surprising how they are not really interacting at all. Like, I think they maybe saw each other once. I'm not even sure. It wasn't really described. So I'm curious about when they meet again. Because Shensha at the end is like, yeah, even though he lied to me, Yanushi, if I see him again, I will thank him for saving me. Because he did. So, like, Shensha is like, even if you had ulterior motives, I don't care, you did good to me, so I'm gonna be thankful. When Yanush is like, I don't care if you're a good person, I will fuck you up if you need to. Basically. Like, he's just doing his own thing, looking for some volume of cultivation to become even stronger. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I have still a lot left to read, so we'll see where it goes next. So, I'm here with a 55% update. I've read up to page 182 out of the 363 pages of the novel. So, what do I think about this book? Now, at 50%. The narration is still a bit the same. We are not exactly in any of the main characters' minds, and there was one more secondary character. We had kind of the narration follow their thoughts a bit more, but we are starting to get a bit more of Shen Xiao's narration too. And I'm going to mostly talk about Shensha here because Yan Wuxi had a lot less screen time, so he probably is going to have more in the second part. So Shensha, I actually start to love him so much. He's really interesting, like, as a character, because At first, I thought he was going to be naive, and because he has no memory, and he's described as being very pure, so I was a bit afraid he was going to be stepped on by everyone and never really taking action to protect himself. But actually, he does act for when needed. He's not going to be mean first, but he's not going to let you step on him either. And I really like about that about him, because he's easy to root for. First of all, he's like still blind, still sickly, but you can see he's not giving up. He's strong, and he does try to help. Is maybe not the right word, because he doesn't really try to help, but he's more like, I'm not, he's not putting his issues on other people. He will try to protect you if he thinks is the reason why you could end up in trouble. For the plot, we are starting to have it a little bit more. It's still actually about the manuscript that Yan Wuxi is looking for, and they did find a part of it. And that guy is like, let me bring the most trouble for everyone. He's like, I'm getting the info, and I'm bringing trouble for the whole Jianghu world. He's like, if I can't bring the drama, I will bring the drama. Yes, he loves drama. He would be alive in these days. He would be watching trash reality show every second of the day. I think that's what Yan Wuxi would do if he was alive today. Poor guy. He doesn't have reality TV show to watch, so he makes the drama himself, you know? And Qian Qiao, again, ends up in the middle of it, and right where I left off, actually, Yan Wuxi is back, and he's like, you're coming with me to that mountain, because I need you. And Qian Qiao is like, do I have a choice? Can I say no? Yan Wuxi's like, you can. I will just beat your ass up and bring you back unconscious. That's where I left off. And so I'm kind of excited because we're finally getting true screen time between the two. Actually, I say finally, I'm used to it because anime usually are more slow paced, and it's not strange that we don't have much screen time between the main character, especially in volume 1. But like, I'm excited. Especially because that's what mostly is advertised about this anime, is really the relationship between the two, and the fact that Yan Wuxi is trying to corrupt Shenxia. That's what this anime is advertised about, so I do want to see a bit of their interaction and see, does Shenxia end up impacting Yan Wuxi more? I do think it's gonna happen, especially if they fall in love. But also, I think I've seen some stuff, and I'm scared for Qian Qiao. He's too precious for this world. Like, he's really sweet. He's trying his best. When he knows he can bring trouble to someone, he let them go. When they betray him, he's like, oh, that sucks, man. But he doesn't go to kill them like Yan Wuxi wished he would do. No, he's just like, yeah, that sucks. Life sucks. Though, I do love something Qian Qiao did. It is tiny bit of spoiler, so you can skip if you want. But there is a one point Qian Qiao is kind of not guet-apens, but like some guy close to the emperor is trying to literally kidnap him and make him a lover by force, and he was betrayed by the other guy he was with that didn't want to die, so he was like, I have a handsome man, I know, you could use him. Thank you, bro. He saved your life multiple times, but thank you, bro. And Qian Qiao is obviously kind of overpowered, even though he's blind and sick. He still somehow wins the fight because he's still very clever and has some learnings from the manuscript still ingrained in him. And there's that guy who was basically like going to rape him, fantasizing about it. I love what Qian Qiao does. When he's done using him to bring him somewhere else, he castrates the guy. It's just one sentence. The book doesn't elaborate much on it. He emasculated the guy so that he cannot hurt anyone anymore. And I was like, yes, that's what I wanted. I was afraid he was going to be too nice, too sweet, but no, when you're a piece of trash, he's going to deal with you the way a piece of trash deserves it. Yes, do castrate the guy, please. You deserve it. Sorry, not sorry. Especially because he also hunts human like he's a piece of trash. So I didn't feel sorry for the guy. Yan Wuxi, who knew, didn't feel sorry for the guy. No one feels sorry for the guy. Qian Qiao, you did God's work. So now I'm going to read the other half of the book. I don't know if I will update at the 75% mark or just when I'm done with it. What? It's more probable that I'm going to update when I'm finished, because the last part is the one I read the quickest, and I will probably be too lazy to stop and record something because it was already kind of hard to stop at the 50% mark because finally they are reunited. I want to know what happens next. Is Yan Wuxi going to be crazy? Probably yes. Is Qian Qiao going to want to, I don't know, probably want to disappear, be out of it, but he can't. He has no choice in the matter. Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen next. I'm excited. Hi! So, I'm back a few weeks later. Yes, I took kind of a break in reading because I got in the mood for another book, so I stopped reading this one to go read another book. But I'm back to this one now. I'm 77% in, 25% more than last time, and I'm going to do just a quick recap of my thoughts so far. I'm always quite shocked by how dark some of the themes are in this book. Like, they just say some stuff randomly, like, not randomly, but matter-of-factly. And so I'm just like, whoa, that's a bit dark. And I think that's why sometimes I'm not feeling like picking it up, because it's not particularly a fun read. But once I'm reading it, it's like still so easy to read. I like the dynamic that we're getting between Yan Wuxi and Qian Qiao. Yan Wuxi currently is like being so weird because when there are people around, he's acting all flirty and nice and using a very soft voice, calling Shenxia "a xiao, a xiao, a xiao," that everyone thinks they are lovers, especially because Shenxia is still looking very sick and weak, even though he has now gotten back halfway through his usual self. I will say I'm also not very invested in the fight scene. The martial arts scenes do lose me a little bit because it's just kind of too poetic for me. And so I'm like, okay. But like, it's just minor. Like, I can still follow what's happening, but it's just like, wuxia sometimes is a bit confusing because why are people flying and using hands as swords? It's hard to suspend my disbelief sometimes because then we have some very historically dark stuff, like we're talking about sometimes eating humans here. In one scene, they see some very poor refugees, and like it is said that if they don't have enough money and then food, sometimes they just end up eating the woman and the children. And I'm like, okay. And then you talk about like flying everything. It's just hard to focus sometimes and just combine the two. But otherwise, I'm really loving it. It's really easy to read, and like Yan Wuxi is so funny. He's just like, dude, kinda crazy. And Shenxia is like, I'm used to it now. Literally, the book is like, people are so hurt by what Yan Wuxi said, and they become angry, and Shenxia is like, I'm peaceful. Calm mindset. He has some superpower he can bear with Yan Wuxi. So that's the last update before my final update of volume 1. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm at page 292, and the book finishes at 362, so I should be able to finish it tomorrow. I finished it last night, and if I had to rate it, I put a 3.75 rating on it. Because it's still the first volume, so I'm still not that attached to the characters or the world, and I did get a bit lost during the more action-heavy scenes, especially the martial arts scenes that were sometimes a bit too poetic for me. If you've read it, I think you know what I mean. It's kind of different from other anime books I've read before. So there is that. However, I do really like our main characters. At the end of the story, they started to really grow on me. Especially Yan Wuxi is very funny to read about because he's really sarcastic. And it's always fun to read this type of characters, especially because he's also unpredictable. So you're like, what are you really thinking inside your head? And Shenxia, I like to see him not grow, but how he keeps his values in the center of his life, even though some people don't respect him as he should be respected. I think I would put it that way. And true, I wanted to read the second volume almost immediately because it really ends in the middle of a scene, basically. At least I know I have volume 2 waiting for me. But the thing is, I will probably have to wait around a year to get volume 3, 4, 5. So I do want to let some time pass before I read volume 2, so I don't wait too much before I get to read volume 3. So yeah, I think that's it for my review reading vlog. I'm not sure it was fun to watch, but I think I will enjoy having this as a memory and something to look back about how I felt when I read Thousand Autumns for the first time. Yeah, so bye bye! Also, my next read is probably going to be this one or this one. Stay tuned to know.